What is financial freedom? The coveted title that you hear so many people talking about. That's exactly what we want to discuss in this video, so let's get into it right away. But really quickly, if you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video, as I love talking about these topics and hopefully I can share some tips and tricks to help you achieve financial freedom. With that being said, thank you so much for your support. I truly appreciate it. And let's get right into it. All right, so in order to achieve financial freedom, we first need to identify what is financial freedom? What does this term actually mean? Here's the interesting part about it. There is no specific definition for financial freedom, but rather it depends on who you're talking to. Literally every person has a different definition for financial freedom. However, with that being said, the definition that I'm going to run on in this video is financial freedom is achieved when you can set up passive income sources, income streams that are completely passive, that offset all of your monthly expenses on a monthly basis, obviously, where you can look at your job, as in going to work, as completely optional. How does that sound to you, right? Sounds pretty amazing, right? Thinking that the job that you report to or the work that you do could be, if you just so decided, 100% optional. Do you like the sound of that? I don't know about you, but I absolutely love the sound of maybe reporting to a job and work as 100% optional. As in, you could go to work if you want, you could have a job if you want, or if you don't want to, then fine, you don't need to, right? Now, of course, this is going to be different for every single person that you talk to. I mean, literally, it is going to be a different number, it's going to be a different strategy, and it's going to be a different definition for literally every person. However, for the purposes of this video, that's the definition that we're going to run on, which is passive income sources that completely 100% offset all of your monthly expenses so that you can do whatever you want with your life, still continue to live your life in any way that you desire, and work is optional. All right, now here's the thing. The key word is, or like the key question is, many people wonder this: do I need to earn $100,000 a year in order to achieve financial freedom? Well, the answer could be yes, and the answer could be no, maybe not. Do you need to earn $1 million a year in order to achieve financial freedom? Again, the answer is yes for some people, and the answer is no for most people. And the answer could be, here's the deal. You could earn any amount of money. I mean, you could earn $5,000 a month. You could earn $50,000 a month, or you would have to earn maybe $500,000 a month. It completely depends on the person and your exact situation. There's no right or wrong answer across the board for everybody, because literally it is specific to every single person. So here's what we want to do. I'm actually going to come back in a different video and follow up on this a little bit further, but let's get into this and start discussing it right now. But then again, I'll make that dedicated video where we can follow up and have like part 2 on financial freedom and actually how to achieve these numbers and some strategies of which how you can set up passive income streams to actually offset all of your expenses. So here's the thing. We'll talk about that in a future video, but let's talk about this a little bit further and kind of lay down the groundwork and the foundation for everything you need to know as far as achieving financial freedom. All right, so here's the thing. Going off of our definition, setting up passive income streams. Here's what we need to do first. We first need to identify how much money are we talking? How much do you really need to offset on a monthly basis to actually achieve financial freedom? So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to go through all of your expenses. Write it all down on a monthly basis. Figure out how much money do you spend month over month. And here's what else I'm going to ask you to do. You need to track this for about 5 or 6 months. You need to get a running average over a long period of time. You can't just look at 1 month. That's not going to be good enough. You need to do this over like 5-6 months, ideally more like probably 8 or 9 months. You need to figure all this out and get a running average of how much you're spending each and every month on everything. Not just your rent and utilities or your mortgage and utilities. No, it is everything. So let's run through some examples on this so you can know exactly what you're looking at. Now, here's one thing. Maybe you go through your credit card statements, maybe your debit card statements, or maybe your bank statements, all of these combined, and start figuring out how much are you spending on everything, your living expenses. Boil it all down into one number all the way at the bottom. So how much is your rent or your mortgage? How much are your utilities? all of your utilities, including maybe your gas, electric, maybe your phone bill, maybe your cable bill, your satellite dish, or whatever your kind of cable bill there, maybe your internet, your Wi-Fi, all of this stuff, all of your utilities, your water bill, everything. Add it all up along with your mortgage. Look at your car payments. Do you have a car payment? If so, how much is it? Write it down. Get all of these numbers. Get any other expenses that you have. Maybe it's gas in your car, food that you buy on a monthly basis. Maybe it's groceries. Maybe it's expenses that you spend on money when you go out to eat at a restaurant and or fast food, anything like that. It does not matter. Any expenses that you have on an ongoing monthly basis. What are some other weird expenses you might have? Maybe you get your clothes dry cleaned. I don't know. I'm just throwing some weird stuff out there. Maybe you get that done. Write it down. Maybe you get your car washed once a week. Write it down. Maybe you go out and you get coffee from one of these fancy coffee shops. Maybe you do that 3 times a week. Write it down. Any expenses, literally. Write down exactly. Add it all up. Total up all of your expenses. Literally every single penny that you spend on a monthly basis. I know that this seems like a little bit extreme, but here's the thing. You need to know where you're sitting. That's the whole point behind this. You need to know literally how much money is going out the door every month. Not just rounding, not just like, well, I think it's about $3,000. No, that's not really good enough, because here's the thing. If you don't calculate the numbers exactly as they are, you might not be able to figure out how much money you need to actually offset to achieve your financial freedom number. So here's the thing. It literally needs to be down to the penny. And I know that seems really obsessive and really extreme, but here's the thing. The more precise that you are with these numbers, the more precise you can be with figuring out how much money you need to get so that you no longer need to report to a job if that just so happens to be the case, right? So here's the thing. Go through all your bank statements, your debit card statements, maybe your credit card statements, and write it all down. Go through maybe like the last, 4 months, 5 months, do that. So go back in history, maybe 4 or 5 months, write it all down and get a number. You're going to see something really weird about this number. You're going to see a number that is very, very similar every single month. It's probably going to be off by a matter of maybe a few $100s for the most part. But when you calculate all these numbers, you're basically going to see a number that is very, very similar every single month. It's almost kind of weird how these numbers come out like so accurate every month. It's like, hey, this is weird. I'm literally spending the same amount of money every single month. But the reason you want to get a long-term running average on this is because every so often, you might have one of these one-off, like, oops, my air conditioning went out on my car. I had to spend $500 to get it fixed. Well, you certainly want to have that in there into the averages, because here's the thing. If you don't calculate that in, and all of a sudden you've quit your job because you've set up passive income sources, and all of a sudden you get hit with a $500 unexpected bill, well, that's going to throw things off a little bit, right? So this is why you want to get a long-term running average. So like I said, go back in history about 4 or 5 months, total it all up off of your statements, and then going forward over the next 4, 5, 6 months, something like that, continue to total up all of these numbers every single month, and then write all these numbers down and keep a running tally of all these numbers. Maybe 1 month, 4 months ago, maybe it's $3,900. Maybe 3 months ago, it's $3,700. Maybe 2 months ago, it's $3,500. Maybe last month it was $3,700. Maybe this month it's $3,900 again. So you get what I'm saying? It's kind of all oscillating between maybe $3,500 and $3,900. Again, I'm just giving some round numbers and just some averages. Honestly, I have no clue what your expenses are. It just totally depends on the person. Maybe your expenses are $1,200 a month. I mean, seriously, it doesn't matter what they are. We just need to know what the numbers are. We can't really run the numbers and figuring out how to achieve financial freedom until we figure out what is that number for you. It's going to be different for literally every single person. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Going forward over the next, I'm going to say 4 to 6 months, continue doing this exercise literally at the end of each month. So like the first day of the following month, go back through all of your statements, literally from, let's just say, September 1st through September 30th. Let's just say it's October 1st right now. It's not, but let's just say it's October 1st right now. Go back, September, look at every single day of September 1st through the end of the month, and add up literally all of your expenses, every single penny that went out. Tally it up, mark it down, and then next month, October, October 1st through October 31st. Mark it all up, write it down, and get a tally of this. And then over about the course of, say, about, I don't know, anywhere between 6 and maybe 9 or 10 months or so, you're going to get all of these different records. So, of course, you went back in history about 4 or 5 months, and now going forward in history, you're going to mark down another about 4, 5, 6 months worth. So, in total, you're going to have about, anywhere between about 6 to 10 months worth of history. You're going to look at all these numbers, and you're going to see, once again, you're going to see this number that is very, very similar going forward throughout the course of all of these months, right? So you're going to see this number. What I would do then is mark down the highest number that you see and the lowest number that you see. So maybe, for going back to our example, maybe the lowest amount that you've spent in 1 month is $3,300, and the highest amount you've spent in 1 month is $4,100. Therefore, you have a spread of $800, right? $3,300 and $4,100 is a spread of $800. So here's the thing. You would need to know, going forward, your financial freedom number, as in the amount of money that you need to achieve on a monthly basis, needs to be probably on the high end of that. Around $4,000 a month is what you would need to offset in order to be perfectly in line with offsetting all of your income as far as from a job, so that you can be financially free, as in from passive income sources. You can go out, set up $4,000 worth of passive income to offset your earned income from a job, and ultimately get all of your expenses paid on an ongoing basis. You may also want to do this as well. Now that you have, let's just say, 10 numbers, you have the track record of 10 different months going forward, or going back and going forward. So you have 10 different numbers from each and every month. Now that you've marked the high number and the lowest number, you may want to also do this. Add up all the numbers. So let's just say you have 10 months worth. Go through and add up all the numbers. So 3,321 plus 3,619 plus 3,621 and 42 cents. Literally, go through and add up all the numbers. You'll take that number and divide it by 10, and then you'll get an average of all the months, right? So you'll get an average across all 10 months, and it'll probably come out at like $3,600 or something like that. It'll come across, somewhere kind of right in the middle, but you want to write that number down as well, and make sure that you mark that as the average. Now, you could expect, going forward, the average amount that you're going to be spending going forward is probably going to be around that, whatever that average would be. But we also want to know all the numbers within this said time period. Now, here's the thing. We're going to follow this up in the next video, because otherwise this video is going to get really long, getting into strategies of how you can set up passive income sources and what you can do going forward to ultimately achieve financial freedom and passive income in the amount to offset 100% of all of your expenses. So literally, you have passive income coming in on a monthly basis that offsets your living expenses. At that point, you have achieved financial freedom. Get what I'm saying? So once you actually have enough income coming in from other income sources other than earned income from a job, you are then financially free once you have officially offset all of your expenses. Therefore, you can pay your rent or your mortgage. You can pay all of your utilities. You can still go out and get your 3 coffees a week from your fancy coffee shop. You can still go out to dinner at a fancy restaurant twice a week or whatever you happen to do. You can still pay your phone bill, your internet bill, your rent, your utilities, your car bill, your gas in your car, your insurance on your car, everything like that from all of your passive income sources. Sounds pretty amazing, right? So then you can look at your job and say, well, Mr. Job, check it out. I've just replaced you. I may not need you anymore. Get what I'm saying? It's a pretty exciting time. When you can achieve this, it actually gets really exciting, because all of a sudden you look at your job and think, I don't really need this job anymore. If I want it, I can keep it for some extra income, but technically, according to my expenses and my passive income, I probably don't need this job anymore. It's pretty exciting when you get to that point, right? So anyway, we will follow this up in a second video, part 2 of how to achieve financial freedom, and we'll talk through some strategies in that one. But I wanted to lay this all out and kind of let you know what you need to do first to lay down the groundwork and all of the foundation to start figuring out how much do you actually need. You first need to figure out what you need in order to achieve your goal, right? You can't achieve a goal if you don't have a goal set. Here's the thing. If you can't identify what your goal is, it's impossible to achieve it. Just like getting in a car and driving to a destination. If you don't have a destination, it's impossible to get there because you don't have one, right? So anyway, this is the first step you need to take in order to achieve this. So I hope this helps you out. Go through this exercise. Seriously. You've got to do it. You can't achieve something if you don't know what it is. All right, so with that being said, we're going to leave it here for now, and I'll come back in that other video and follow up with some more strategies and talking through financial freedom. So enjoy, subscribe right down below the video, share this video with your friends, family, social media. Let's do what we can to help out other people also achieve financial freedom. All right, enjoy, and I will see you again in the next video.